Not too long after that came another industry, and you obviously arrived at it today. That's your car. And obviously today, more automobiles on the road than we've ever seen before. With that, another factor taking place. Income's not keeping up the rising cost of vehicle repair. I grew up back in the 1960s. I loved it. I had a 1965 GTO. I like to have a little sucker back, all right? Today, a bumper, possibly even a headlight on a Mercedes-Benz would cost more than that car cost out of the showroom. So again, more cars, another imbalance taking place. Income's not keeping up with the rising cost of vehicle. How do we find a solution? Well, we had something to copy. That was the medical insurance system. We said, look, let's create the same system. Let's create something, realizing not everybody's going to wreck their car at the same time. Create a system that's affordable. People can pay into each month. Build a large cash reserve, all right? 10 out of 100 people wreck their car, tap into that, get services, their vehicle repair. We named that industry what? The automobile insurance industry. Now again, how many agree it will be with us forever? How many here this morning would love to have been the founding fathers? Had you been, would you have skipped this meeting?
Yeah.
But guess what?
You missed it.
You missed it. Now this morning, gang, here's the facts. There are more legal problems in North America this morning than both medical and automobile combined. We simply have another fact. Incomes of our country have not kept up with the rising cost of legal fees, which, by the way, today on a national average exceed $200 an hour. In most of your metropolitan areas, $300 to $400 is closer to the norm. So it's very common sense to figure this out. Greater imbalance of medical and automobile combined, we found a solution to that. Doesn't make a great deal of sense. Sooner or later, somebody's going to come along, create a system where you and I could affordably pay into each month a small amount of money, create a large cash reserve, and when 10 out of 100 people needed access to the legal system, tap into that, get services rendered. We obviously named it industry what? LegalShield. But fortunately for all of you here this morning, from a timing standpoint, you can write this one down. You did not miss this one. You did not miss this. And that is the second reason you choose an industry is the timing of an industry. Now that you have the company, now that you have the timing, what will be the third reason? Market availability. How big of a market do you actually have to go after? Well, today we've got a lot of endorsements. I had the opportunity of not too long ago speaking at the United States Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. It was kind of an honor for me because Tom Donahue honored our company and opened up the doors. And of course, he opened up the doors of the United States Chamber of Commerce looking right at the White House. And they told me before I got up on the stage, says, you know, almost every president has spoken on this stage. So while they weren't looking, I wrote my name on it. But anyway, maybe the next president will get up there and go, whose name's Savula? Anyway, all right. But today we have that great endorsement by United States Chamber of Commerce. United States Black Chamber of Commerce endorses us today. Today we have attorney generals, active attorney generals that own our membership, that actually speak at our conventions. We have 3 former attorney generals that have been part of our advisory council, including a very famous one out of Mississippi by the name of Mike Moore, that many of you might recall one of the largest cases in the world against the tobacco industry. And if you ever download the movie The Insider, you'll see Mike actually in that movie. Mike Moore on a business network actually did a program for us that stated that we've only opened up less than 2% of the market shares. We haven't even began the journey, ladies and gentlemen. And we think today, according to our new CEO and our new president, we're probably a $60 billion industry to go after. We haven't even begun we haven't even hit $1 billion yet. So the third reason you choose an industry is the market availability, and ours is unscathed and untouched. Fourth and last reason, competitive edge in the marketplace. You know, like the world of athletics, we saw a couple of great teams playing that Super Bowl. It was a great game, all right? The Patriots in New York, okay? And whoever mattered, I know Minnesota wasn't there, okay? But anyway, you would have liked it a bit, right? All right? But, you know, when you look at the world of athletics, whether it be the college level, they recruit the best high school players, the pros go after the best college players. Why? You need a competitive edge. You need to have the best players on the field of play to get you to the Super Bowl, the national championship, right? And, you know, it's one thing to have the competitive edge on the athletic field, but it's essential and critical in the business world. And this morning, our company, LegalShield, ladies and gentlemen, is the only comprehensive legal program in the world today. I say the world. There is nobody that does what we do and how we do it, the types of law firms that we deal with. Now, first thing is going to come to your mind when you understand our membership, and our most expensive membership here in the state of Minnesota is only $26 a month for an entire family. What kind of lawyer could you possibly get for $26 a month? I mean, this person must have got their degree off the internet, all right? Or got an eye in the middle of their head. I don't know which, all right? But ladies and gentlemen, I was very surprised to find out when I was introduced to this program a number of years ago. There's a book that all of you can make a note on today. It's called Martindale-Hubbell. And that book is a grading scale for lawyers. It was written back in the mid-1800s. And the highest rating you can get for a lawyer in our country today is AV rated, Martindale-Hubbell AV rated. I'm very proud to inform all of our guests here this morning that 95% of all of our provider law firms, both U.S. and Canada, are all AV rated. So that means when you're picking up the phone and talking to one of our lawyers today, we can't deliver any better than what the system can deliver itself at the present time. Now, everybody understand the game of football up here, am I right? How many would like to have an offensive football team on the football field and the defense didn't show up? A few years ago, the Cincinnati Bengals could have used that. I mean, they were funny. I was doing a meeting in Cincinnati, Ohio, not too long ago. Everybody remember Icky Woods, Icky Shuffle? Yeah. All right. Now, Icky was sitting in the front row. I was doing a luncheon. I walked in. I was a few minutes late, and I apologized. I said, "Icky, I'm sorry I'm late." This Cincinnati was not doing very well, at this time. And I said, "I got stopped by a law officer here in Cincinnati." He says, "Oh my goodness, Dave." We said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know. I guess he." I said, "But he gave me 2 tickets." He says, "2 tickets? What'd you deserve to get 2 tickets?" I says, "I don't know, Icky, but they were to the Bengals game." I said, "The punishment is I have to go." He left the meeting. I haven't heard from Icky in a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're strictly an offensive movement in America today, and that's why we're breaking records on a national and international basis. Now, let me tell you what we do, first of all, today. I am not here today to sell you on LegalShield. Somebody said, "Why would you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, get on a plane, fly all the way here if you're not here to sell it?" Well, number one, this is a product you don't sell. So if you're here to think today you're going to sell something, sadly inform you that's not the case. The case is, I'm here today to inform you that a product like this even exists in America. Too many of you this morning have been sold too many things already. You ladies have a kitchen full of things you've been sold. You got crap in that kitchen you ain't never going to use. You got plates people look at. You're not allowed to put anything on them, you just look at them. You got towels in your bathroom with your initials on them. When guests come, you take them down. You dare not dry your hand in an initial towel. All right? And you guys got a garage full of things you've been sold for. In fact, most of you can't even get in your garage. How many of you men here today have a socket set? All of you got a socket set? If you don't have one, buy one. It's not manly not to own a socket set, right? But if you really think of the sockets, how many do you really use? About 3 of them? If you ever find a nut that little one fits, you write me, because I don't believe they ever made it down. But here's what's exciting. You got $10,000 worth of Craftsman tools sitting out in your garage, but when it comes to repairing your house, you don't even go there. You know where you go? Same place I do. Little drawer in the kitchen, little drawer in the laundry room. Open it up. What do you keep in there? You keep a little hammer about this big, 3 screwdrivers, pair of pliers, and duct tape. I'm here this morning and have duct tape holding something together right now. That could be the very penis you have on here this morning. But anyway, in fact, now it's Gorilla Glue. I got to tell you a cute little story. During the summer months, I traveled. Of course, today I'm just traveling. I didn't get a chance to change my suit. But I traveled with the Tommy Bahama shirt and stuff and, loafers with no socks on. And in the heat of the summer, I don't care how good a shoe you buy, you eventually start pulling the tongue out of the shoe. Everybody with me? Well, this one day, I could see that my tongue was a little loose in the shoe. So I reached up and got the Gorilla Glue. And I put it down inside the shoe, put the flap down, stuck my foot in, went to the airport. Well, no big deal. You don't think much of it at that point, right? I'm going through the radar detector thing. I had a lady in front, a lady beside me. Everybody's taking their shoes off, so I take my left shoe off, put it in the tray, right? I cannot get my right shoe off. And I am going like this. I'm doing everything I can do to get my right. Finally, I ripped the tongue and everything is actually glued to the bottom of my foot. Now, you talk about something embarrassing. I was going through that radar thing with that thing flapping on the bottom of your foot, right? So there's the point. Let it dry for a few hours before you put your foot in the shoe. That's the whole point I was trying to direct you today, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, we deliver a product that's very critical, very important in the times we live in today. We're on a serious matter here today. For $26 is our most comprehensive program in the state of Minnesota. We cover you, spouse, children in that household, and even full-time college students that way at school up to the age of 23, and disability kids no matter what their age may be. So there's 10 of you in that household. One $26 monthly membership covers you and that family on a national scale, on a nationwide scale. Now, when I was first introduced to this program, the gentleman came and sat down with me. First thing he said to me was, "Dave, unlimited phone consultation." I said, "Unlimited phone consultation." Now, I knew what lawyers cost. I owned a business in Atlanta. I had employees and locations and so forth. I knew what lawyers cost. I said, "Unlimited phone consultation." I said, "Are you telling me today that I can pick up the phone here in Georgia? I can call an AV-rated law firm. Number one, I'm going to get by the secretary. Number two, I'm not going to have to put down a retainer. And number three, I'm not going to be billed $200 to $300 an hour for this conversation." They said, "That's correct." I said, "You tell me I can call as many times a month as I like. If I had 20 different subject matters, I wanted to call 20 different lawyers and, on 20 different issues, I'm not going to get a bill in the mail." I said, "That's right." I said, "One of my sons is playing baseball in South Carolina." I said, "You tell me my son in South Carolina, if he has a legal problem over there, can do identically the same thing, call a lawyer in South Carolina, and he's not going to get a bill, mom and dad aren't going to get one either?" They said, "That's right." I said, "Look, sign me up." Now, I'm not the brightest light bulb in this room here this morning, but ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you I understand value very quickly, all right? I'm going to give you all of you a test this morning. Now, if you pass this test, I'm going to allow you to drive home. All right, now, if you don't pass this test, I think it'd be a good idea to call CAP. Is that fair enough for everybody? How many here today, first of all, believe that 95% of most legal problems in our country could maybe nipped in the bud if you just had access to information? Today, the world we live in, you know, you can ask your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, mom and dad all day long. They're not lawyers. They're not going to give you the absolute perfect answer that you're going to need, the legal answer that you need, all right? Today, foreclosures in our country today, job loss issues, all the things that are effectively affecting our country today, people need to have good advice, all right? Now, here's the test. How many here today would rather pay $300 an hour to talk to a lawyer on Monday morning here in Minnesota, or have unlimited access for your entire family nationwide for $300 a year? I think it's a pretty easy test to pass. Would you all agree?
Oh, yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's no greater value than that. Now, we can stop and go home right now because the power of this by itself is so critical and important. But it even gets better. We're going to talk a little bit about life event issues, okay? We make phone calls on your behalf. Now, how many believe a lawyer making a call get a lot more done than you and I would? All right? How many here today ever had a bad neighbor? How many of you actually are the bad neighbor? Maybe you got a neighbor who's got a barking dog, right? Everybody always has one of those. You call up Bob next door. Hey, Bob, the dog's keeping us awake all night long. What do you say putting the dog somewhere else? Well, Bob never liked you anyway. Next time you look out the window, the dog's tied at the front door. Anybody have any neighbor like that? Right? Point is, your call has no muscle. But how many agree if a major law firm in Minnesota picks up that phone, calls Bob next door and says, by the way, Bob, my name is blankety blank. I represent blankety blank. Your neighbor next door, and seems to have a little bit of an issue and a problem. I'd like to address it with you right now. Fact of the matter is, you're possibly violating some ordinances that very well could be cause some legal ramifications down the road. Bob, would you mind putting that dog somewhere else? How many believe that dog might find a different place to bark? Would y'all agree, all right? You know what's exciting about that phone call was not made at $300 to $400 an hour, all part of your membership in LegalShield. And right now, a lot of you are thinking back of issues and things that you dealt with that you never dealt with because the system was too expensive. You backed away from it or ran away from it. Now you can have an aggressive attitude towards that. Life can be a little bit more easy to deal with, all right? And it's not what we've dealt with in the past. The future is going to become more complicated, as many of you well know. Letters written on your behalf. Now, how powerful is that? It's like having a muscle you haven't used in years. How many here today would join a health spa if you knew somebody else would actually work out for you and you got the muscle? They have that in California now. You can send somebody out the track and they run 6 miles, you lost 6 pounds. Isn't that a great idea, right? People will probably buy into that, all right? Today, maybe a warranty wasn't honored. Somebody didn't show up to finish the job, maybe an overbilling of a situation. You write a letter, you feel good about it. But your letter goes to the same pile everybody else's letter goes to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when a major law firm writes that letter with lawyers, this is the left, right, hand corner, how many believe the response is going to become fairly quick? And how many believe that generally goes to a different department? All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard so many testimonials just in the last few weeks of my travels across the country just regards to a letter. I'll give you one example. This happened in Virginia just the other day. And this is kind of a crazy thing because I don't know much about the internet stuff and these iPads and all this crap here, okay, all right? But anyway, this particular product was listed at $4.99, all right? But then it was on sale for $3.99, and if you took this coupon in, you got it for $2.99, all right? Well, one of our associates, members, took it in, bought the product for $2.99, got home, and that night on the news, it said we're going to offer this product now, we're eliminating our inventory for $99. Well, he took the sales receipt back to the business, and they said, well, we can't honor this because we don't have a supply of it. He said, well, you're supposed to honor this. Well, they would not honor it. They called our law firm. Our law firm wrote a letter, and the letter response came back. Have that gentleman take his sales receipt back to them. We'll refund his $200. And guess what they did? They did it on a national scale for everybody across the country at that point in time. Because of one letter written on behalf. Now, how many of you here would not hire a lawyer for an additional $200, knowing that the charge would probably be $300 to $400 just to get the lawyer? That's the power of this on a little aspect. Document review. Don't you sign a thing today that's not been looked at by an attorney. Why? Because we make risks. You know, if he's my neighbor, I'm still going to buy the what? I'm still going to buy the lawnmower with a handshake, right? But if I'm going to buy that house, I better have a lawyer review that document. Good example of this, my oldest son, David, he has a farm up in the North Georgia mountains. Beside him came 30 acres for sale on the internet. It was a foreclosure. And he went online, he won the bid, okay? But when the document came, it said 30 acres, but it said refer to Exhibit A, the attachment. And on Exhibit A, it was a 20-acre tract and a completely separate 10-acre tract. Never showed it combined as a 30-acre sale. Now, he could have signed that. Very well, we'd still be fighting in court. but because he grew up with this product,